What's up, guys? We are back with another NECA Turtles review, but we are not taking a look at a turtle this time. We're taking a look at a rabbit, and I am really excited about this figure, not only because I like USAGI YOJIMBO, but because I finally found this damn thing. I've had the hardest time tracking this thing down. Probably the hardest thing I've tried to get my hands on for NECA Toon Turtles in just years at this point. So, small victory, I suppose. Now, this is Space Usagi in the Toon line, and it's a deluxe figure, which means we get a VHS Ultimate style box. And I still like some of these callbacks. I still love the NECA logo as the FHE logo down there. But on the front here, we've got a really cool piece of artwork of Usagi in his spacesuit. And then the back of this box is going to give you a write-up, a little bit of a cartoon motif background, as well as some product shots of our samurai rabbit. Pop it open because it's a deluxe box, so you get that big product shot there in the inside, and then you get your figure there in the window. So yeah, let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Space Usagi YOJIMBO, of course, from the NECA Toon Turtles line. Despite the fact that this guy did not appear in the cartoon like this very much goes in line with that Space Donatello that we're going to get. Now, I say that, and there was going to be a Space Usagi cartoon at the same time Turtles was running. It never happened. There was a pilot. You can see it on YouTube, but he doesn't look like this. This is a different kind of thing altogether. And I believe this body is being reused in that upcoming 4-pack that just went up for pre-order. So let's see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. It's very much a NECA turtle figure, just not a turtle. So if you're familiar with the Toon line, you really know what to expect here. So we've got a head that can look up really, really good. He can look down. He's very similar to the first Usagi, honestly. Tilt side to side. You've got rotation. The ears rotate also. Arms out at the shoulders. They rotate. The shoulder pad is a pliable material that connects to the torso, so it does get out of the way pretty well. You got a bicep swivel. I will say on this figure, I had to heat up a lot, and I still cannot get my right bicep unlocked. It is so tight, so I'm going to have to work on it. But I had to heat up the elbows and the knees on this guy. We've got what are technically double jointed elbows, but they are effectively single joints because of the gauntlets on him. And then you've got hinges and rotation at the wrist. Torso, really, really nice. It's this single ball peg, so he goes backwards, forward, tilt side to side really nicely. And it's your rotation. Legs out pretty much all the way. They kick forward a good bit. He's got a diaper thing going on. Kick backwards. You do have a thigh twist up there. We've got double jointed knees. Again, I had to heat them up, so watch out. They go back decently enough. He's got these monster boots, so they kind of get in the way a little bit. And then down at the ankles, surprisingly for the ankles, they do move really well. So you've got pretty decent hinge. It's really good backwards. It's okay forwards, but it still retains a really nice rocker somehow, despite the fact that it is so wide and just so oddly shaped. So he does move pretty well. I mean, if you're familiar with that first Usagi, you really know what to expect in terms of the overall articulation scheme, just the Toon line in general, but I've been pretty pleased with how he moves, outside of the fact that I still can't get my right bicep to even remotely budge. Now, where I truly care about this guy, though, is, and is always going to be the case, the looks, and that's so important for this particular line. It's not just because I want a cool looking Usagi YOJIMBO, it's because they go for such this specific aesthetic and look. I mean, it's got to be on. It's got to be on point. It's got to be right. And I think they pretty much got this one. I really like the body that's being used here. I like this really small, very tight little body that they've got. The colors on him absolutely pop. The black undersuit against this yellow armor works really well. Obviously, there is a ton, and I can't stress enough, there is a ton of paint on this little guy. And that's not just because he has all this cel-shaded look, it's because the figure is essentially, all the yellow is fully painted. So you've got tons of yellow, you've got browns, you've got blacks, you've got red accents, we've got whites, we've got piping for this line work that wraps all the way around the body. He's got this little pack on his back with even more of it. So tons of that cel-shaded look, which, you know, if you're familiar with the Toon line, you've kind of come to expect at this point. And I think works really, really well on him. It definitely makes him stand out and it makes him pop a little bit more. The yellow on the black obviously is a very jarring, very contrasting color, but all these other accents really make him stand out. Sizing, again, is really nice. He's Usagi, so he's going to be on the small side, but he's definitely small, and if you're familiar with that original figure, you know what to expect also. But he's got a nice form factor, good feel in your hand. There's not a lot of exposed rabbit on this guy, just the hands and then the head and the neck. But the armor looks good. This is a very, very cartoony spacesuit, you know, space armor, so to speak. So I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out and how it looks and just the overall design intention that they've got behind it. I like this little bauble in the middle with the 3 little red jewels on the crest in his chest. That's kind of a cool little design. It pops against that yellow also. And then we've got a very expected style of head here. This is very similar, if not really the same. I should have checked to that other Usagi. We'll do some comparisons when we get to sizing for the other Usagi. But I really like this head sculpt. I love the fact that the ears can move. You've got all the fully sculpted fur on the skin and everything. His baby blues there, and then that little scowl works nicely to give him some personality. It's like all you got to do is cock that head to the side, and he looks a little angry, right? That's all it takes. So there's a lot of personality put into that face and that sculpt and then that paintwork. And in general, you know, I really love that first Usagi. I believe he was in my top 10 for whatever year that figure came out. And I wouldn't be surprised if this guy is in contention because I've had a lot of fun with him so far. And a lot of that is coming down to just my enjoyment of how cool this figure looks in hand. Now for some size comparisons, let's start with other NECA turtles. So we've got one of the, well, it's not recent anymore, but the most recent Toon turtles. So we've got the disguised Leo here on the left, and then we've got the original, the first Usagi on the right. And of course, these two are very similar. This one is bulkier and bigger just because of the kind of clothing he's wearing, and then it gives you an idea of what he's going to look like next to the turtles. Let's do another spacey kind of figure. So here's a Cosmic Legions. There's Oleg Thygar. Let's do a figure arts. So here is Superhero Piccolo, of course. Let's do a Marvel Legends for some normal-ish 112 representation. Here is Bishop from the X-Men 97 Marvel Legends wave. Let's do an Ultimates from Super 7. Here is a Thundercat. There is Invisible Tigra. And then let's do one smaller thing for small size comparisons for reasons I'm not sure why. Fugitoid is close at hand, so there is a vintage Playmates figure, the vintage Fugitoid, and they actually stack up pretty well. So he is, of course, on the small side. He's supposed to be, but that means he's going to fit in a lot easier with a lot of other lines that aren't necessarily turtles. Now, as far as accessories goes, unsurprisingly, Usagi comes with quite a bit. And to start with, we do get an extra head, but we also get this piece. So we do get a actual like space bubble dome helmet for this particular head sculpt. So it is 2 pieces, and you can just pop this apart and pop it around his head, and it's even got a hole for the ears here, obviously, so you can have it if he wants to go on a spacewalk or something like that. I'm generally not the biggest fan of these because, of course, it makes posing the head difficult once it's on, but it does kind of complete the look, and it does look pretty cool when he's got it on. And then he does come with an alternate head sculpt as well, with the ears down, and a slightly different kind of expression with his teeth exposed here. So you got a couple different options when it comes to how you want to display him. You get, I suppose, 3 different options because this one doesn't really work with the dome as you might expect. And then we get some extra hands. You get 4 total sets. We have fists on him in the box. You get a set of trigger finger hands. We get a set of gripping hands. And we get a set of style posy gesturing kind of hands. We get, of course, stuff for him to hold. So you get 2 guns. You get this little blue blaster right here with some black accents, tiny little thing. And then you get this larger blaster, which is gray, got a little yellow on it, more black accents. This looks kind of Mirage inspired to me. I can't place if that's accurate or not, but that's where I'm going with it. We get this knife with a big old yellow grip on it. This is a huge fat blade in comparison to, well, his small stature. And then we get his actual sword. But what I really like about this is it has an energy effect. So you've got the sword itself, and it's like a smaller samurai kind of katana sword. And then you've got this very pliable, translucent blue energy electricity effect, which I absolutely love. I love this kind of stuff. And it plays up the space theme for him as well. And then lastly, because it's not Usagi without him, we do get a Spot figure, but it's a Robo Spot. So you get one of these, and it's his little dinosaur buddy, but he's either fully armored or he's supposed to be a robot this time around, which I really like. It's not silver; it's actually more of a blue leaning silver, if that makes any sense. So it's got kind of a blue tint to it, and then he's got some white accents for the cell shading and then all of the black line work. He's not articulated or anything, but he's going to stand alongside your little bunny guy just fine. So I'm pretty happy with him just for the sake of inclusion. So a lot of good stuff here. In typical fashion, it's a NECA turtle figure. Usually they come with a lot of stuff, and USAGI does not disappoint. So yeah, overall, I'm really happy with USAGI. Again, there's the whole frustration aspect that still creeps into NECA Toon turtles from time to time. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've actually had trouble getting one of these, but this guy really put me through my paces to actually see one in store. It took way too much effort to find him, so that's always a negative. I just still hate that that's a thing. But the figure in general is incredibly well done. He moves well, again, except for that bicep issue that I've got, but I'll get that. It's just a matter of time. But he looks tremendous, moves well. I love the form factor. I love the feel of this guy in hand. There's something about this really small figure that's really doing it for me. And again, it's USAGI, so I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to have this particular iteration and this take on the character. Not to mention the fact that he does come with a really solid set of accessories. I love pretty much everything that's in this box. I like the energy effect, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of fun accessories that get packed in here to really flesh out this figure and to make him more in line with an actual deluxe figure, despite the fact that he is on the small side. So that's going to do it for this look at the NECA Toys Toon Turtles Space USAGI YOJIMBO. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.